Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So I want to provide a quick introduction. My name's Sophie and recently I was diagnosed with MS and this is what I want to share with you. I want to share my journey over the past few months and what my next steps are. So it all started on a Monday morning. I woke up as normal and started getting ready for work. Didn't really notice anything. Put my glasses on and headed out the door. That's when things just didn't seem right. It was it's weird to describe. My eyes were just off. So I wear glasses anyway, so sometimes my eyesight's a bit iffy, but it was a little fuzzy, or things were just off focus. I kind of thought, oh, maybe I'm just still tired, maybe I'm getting a cold, just really played it down and thought, it'll get better on its own. So didn't really think much of it. A few days came to pass and it still didn't get better. I would say it was actually starting to get worse. So I booked an optician's appointment. I thought, hey, maybe it's just that time of year, I need to go get my eyes tested, need a new set of specs. Went to the opticians and they done the normal, let's read these lines, what can you see, what can't you see? And there was a change in my prescription, so great. They ordered me new glasses, new contact lenses. I thought, wonderful, once I get those, I'm going to be able to see in 4K. I would get back on with normal life. In between times, my eyes had gotten so much worse. I couldn't leave my house. I couldn't walk down the street because I couldn't work out what was real and what wasn't. I couldn't distinguish between people. I couldn't, especially cars trying to cross a road. It was quite unsettling and quite frightening, and it took a lot of concentration. Also, things around the house. I'm a huge TV binge watcher and I couldn't do that. I couldn't look at the TV without seeing double. So to solve that, because I wasn't giving up on my TV, I ordered a eye patch off of Amazon, so I was walking around my house like a pirate quite a lot, which it did seem to help. If I looked out of one eye, the double vision wasn't there. So the opticians phoned me to say my glasses were ready. Thought, wonderful, I can't wait to put them on and everything's going to be crystal clear. I can go back outside, I can drive, I can just do all the things that I wasn't able to do. I was putting so much hope down to these glasses working. When I got them and I put them on, and it just didn't. Now, I've been wearing glasses for about 10 years and it's never taken me a long time to get used to a new set, but Mr. Google said it could take a few days, even up to a week, to get used to a new prescription. So I thought, right, okay, I'll give it a few more days. But then me being me and being quite impatient, a few days was enough. Things just weren't better. So I booked another optician's appointment, this time with a smaller, more independent rather than your big high street kind of brands. Went there, just explained to him, basically went there begging for help. Can you help me see again? He carried out the usual test again and then started looking at the actual movement of my eyes and where things were focusing. And what he realised was one of my eyes were focusing on the object, but my other was going crazy. So I managed to wake up one Monday morning and develop a massive squint. So because it was to do with the muscles, he wanted to refer me to the orthotics, which it would be through the NHS, so I knew it could take up to about 6 weeks to get the appointment. I couldn't wait 6 weeks. So mentally draining as well when there's things that you really want to do, even just go outside. When someone takes that away from you, it's horrible. It's like we all take things for granted, but then when we can't do it, you realise how lucky you are. Luckily, I have private medical insurance through work. I've never used them before, but I thought, hey, now is the best time. Can't wait 6 weeks for this referral to come through. So I phoned them up and they got me an appointment with an ophthalmologist in the private hospital quite near my house. Very handy. Went to that appointment. That doctor was lovely, so he carried out again similar eye tests, but he noticed right away that I was doing things to compensate for the double vision. Like the way I would look at him or the way I would sit, just to probably subconsciously try and correct it. So best case scenario, it would be a viral infection. He kept asking if it had gotten worse or if it had remained the same, and probably for about a week and a half it had remained the same. Pretty bad, but it hadn't gotten any worse. So he said it could quite easily come and go, and it could take a few weeks, but the fact that he said it could take a few weeks to go, I was completely fine with that. I could wait it out for the fact that someone was telling me, some professional was telling me that it will get better with time. But to cross the T's and dot the I's and make sure there was nothing more sinister going on, he referred me to a neurologist. And right away, you kind of hear neurologist and you start thinking, okay, this isn't just my eyes anymore. Is there something wrong in my head and my brain? What could this be? Could this be something a lot worse than just a viral infection? That was a bit anxious, the build up to the neurology appointment, because of course I googled. Such a bad idea to Google. It's always horrendous results you get when you Google the symptoms. The appointment came. I had a feeling that this appointment was going to be, we'll send you for some kind of scans, because if he looks at your brain, how much can he actually tell from just physically examining your outside? And right enough, we went to it. He tested my coordination, my reflexes, my balance, and told me, I'm going to send you for an MRI scan, which that was fine. Kind of anxious as well, because I think part of me just kind of hoped that he would be like, oh no, you're fine, like, but I'm guessing they're just trying to make sure there's nothing being missed. I also had these little panics of, I don't know if I'd watched a TV show or something and like someone went into an MRI and they had a bit of metal or something that popped out. So in my head, that's all I could think about was, do I have any metal that could fly out of my body? And for that as well, I kind of hoped they would let me keep my own clothes on, so I dressed super comfy, didn't have anything that had metal, so like no jeans, no bra, just had like a t-shirt, gym leggings, super comfy. And yeah, I went there. They didn't tell me as part of the appointment how long I would be in for, so I was going there with absolutely no clue what to expect. So I arrived and the nurses were really nice. They let me, because I was dressed super comfy, so they let me keep everything on and told me that I was going to be in for an hour and a half. I was like, okay. I'm not claustrophobic, but I've also never been in a big tunnel that's taking images of my body before, so I don't know how I'm going to react to this. So the reason it was an hour and a half, They were doing scans of my head, my eyes, and my neck. Again, no one had kind of told me in the initial appointment, so this was all just kind of news to me as I was there. So got ready, went into the room, lay down. They gave me the little earplugs you wear for like sleeping, and then these massive headphone-like things to cover my ears. Gave me this squeezy tube, which was almost like a panic button, or if I wanted to like get in contact with them, and started putting this cage-like thing around my head. Guessing it's to focus the waves or whatever it is in the scan. It didn't touch your head at all. It was just, you're kind of aware that it's around your face. The machine starts going in, so I was actually only like my head and my neck that went in the machine, and then they moved me a little bit further up, but it was never my full body that was in the machine. But it was so loud, honestly. Like, I've never heard anything like that, even with the earplugs and the headphones. It was unbelievably loud. But then I quite like to count things. So like if you go up and down stairs, count how many, or if I'm doing stuff, I'll repeatedly count. And I found myself doing that. So the MRI seemed to have different noise patterns, and I realised if I could count the noise patterns and how long each lasted, I could kind of work out timings. So I kind of worked out that each noise was about 3 minutes each, and then the girl would come over the speakers to say that was one scan done and made X amount of time. So it kind of, I got through it like that. I got through it counting, because it's not as if you can lie down and go to sleep. It's just so noisy. Maybe some people can. So an hour and a half seemed to go pretty quickly, and I was back home. My eyes, by this point, my eyes were pretty much like 80% back to normal. I remember I walked home from the hospital because it was a nice, crisp, dry morning. I'd been for the MRI, and I'd kind of convinced myself that my eyes had gotten better. There'd been no intervention. Everything's going to come back okay. I went to the results appointment and I was so happy. I was just getting back on with my life. My eyesight was fine. I was driving again. And I went in, I was so happy, and he was pretty blunt about it. It was just like, it's not good news. And I'm like, oh, okay. So what, my heart kind of sank, and I was like, right, what are we dealing with now? There's like a million things rushing through my head, like, what could this be? So he starts scrolling through the MRI results, and I'm not a neurologist or not done biology in about 10 years since high school, so I don't know what's an abnormality or what I'm looking at. It could be absolutely anything on this picture, but he scrolled through and he kind of focused on my neck area and the cervical spine, and he said there's inflammation. And my nervous system, right away, I started connecting little dots in my head. There's been things over the past few years that have happened. Like, I've had a sore shoulder, I've had numbness in my thigh, or really probably alarm bells is most nights I have tingling in my leg, sometimes maybe during the day, but that's quite persistent. He continued, so he went back up to the brain area and started highlighting little spots that he called fluffy scarring, and which would be the lesions. And then pretty much said the most likely cause of this is MS. By that point, I got pretty emotional. I just started bubbling. I didn't really it wasn't what I was expecting to hear. I went from going in super happy that my eyesight was back to normal to then, okay, there's something wrong, but I didn't expect that to be what came out of his mouth. So it took me by quite a shock, almost. So I remember him then saying, to confirm it, we want to do a lumbar puncture, which I'm going to do in a separate video because I feel like it's something that I can go into a bit more depth of just the procedure and actually explaining how I felt during the process. And that was pretty much it. So I waited quite a while for the lumbar puncture, you know. After hearing this massive blow, like, I was just on such an emotional roller coaster. Like, I think I probably did go through your kind of grief waves of denial. The first few days, I was so, we're gonna do this, I'm not gonna let it beat me. I was so overly positive, which I think I wanted to be. I think I wanted to be that person. And then it just started slowly, probably the more that you think, it just started slowly chipping away, and then I was quite upset, and more so than when you think about kind of future and what you'd pictured your future to be, and now mine's is totally up in the air of it's so unknown. So I kind of, with him saying highly likely, I think deep down I had that confirmation. I knew in my heart that this is what is going to be probably a miracle if the lumbar puncture comes back and it says it's not, but then we're in a different investigation on what is causing this. So I was kind of quite torn. I was like, I want the lumbar puncture results to come back and just say, yep, this is it, because then this is my plan of action. This is what I have to do. This is where we go from here. But at the same time, probably that sliver of hope that it might not be. They might have gotten it wrong. So got the lumbar puncture results. I kind of ended up in a situation of reading between the lines for confirmation. So I'd been to my GP a few times throughout this process, and the last time I'd went to her, she told me that if it comes back as positive, I'm going to want to go see this MS neurologist. And I was like, right, okay. I got an appointment through the post for this MS neurologist. And I was like, oh, so that's kind of reading between the lines. That's the confirmation then of why would they make that appointment if it wasn't positive. And then I got the appointment for my normal neurologist. So I think someone had kind of messed up somewhere, because when I was at the normal neurologist, he just pretty much confirmed it and told me that there is inflammation in my spinal fluid. It's now time to get on treatments rather than waiting on a second relapse, which I think they did in the past. Now would be the best time to actually get to the MS clinics and get on treatments. I've arranged an appointment with an MS neurologist, and the little nurse comes over and hands me the letter, tells me, oh, we didn't want to send this until you had the appointment today. It's like, oh, I already got that. I got that one first. So I guess for me, it didn't really bother me kind of confirming that way, but I can imagine for some people that you're reading between the lines. It's not someone just being direct up front for you first to find that confirmation. So I went to the MS neurologist and he pretty much narrowed down some treatments, an appointment with the MS clinic, which will hopefully come in maybe in the next few weeks. We're kind of heading Christmas period, so I don't know if that'll delay things. But what I want to say is, and this is why I'm sharing this story, is if you're going through a similar diagnosis, a similar journey, you're not alone. I spent quite a number of nights scrolling through YouTube, looking for people sharing their stories. And this is exactly what I want to do. I want to share my story, share my journey, and hopefully help someone else feel that they're not alone in this process. So stay tuned, and I'm going to be sharing everything with you guys, and hopefully you can see this journey and maybe ups and downs on what's happening. But I want to emphasize that there's so much love and support for people going through times like this that I feel I just want to be part of this community and help others come to terms and support everyone going through a similar process.